in 8th grade. She's been in foster care for 2 years. Her father's in prison and her mother is fighting a methamphetamine addiction. Her little sister lives in a foster home that does not want Jane. So Jane lives in a group home. It's Christmas. Her social worker arranged a visit with her sister, but no one is available to drive Jane. She does not see any family for the holidays. Jane's heart is broken. The next day, her social worker comes to see her, but Jane gets in the shower to cry alone instead of in front of a woman she hardly knows. There are a lot of stories like Jane's. A child comes into foster care because they were abused or neglected at home. In foster care, traumatic events, both big and small, stack up over time and lead to devastating outcomes. By the age of 17, more than half of youth in foster care have been arrested. By the age of 19, nearly half of girls in foster care have been pregnant at least once. Foster care was designed to be a temporary, life-saving intervention. It was never intended to be the solution. Social workers and children's attorneys carry massive caseloads. The most vulnerable youth end up isolated and desperate. That's why we need Casa. Casa stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. We match volunteers one-on-one with foster youth and train those volunteers to investigate medical, social, and emotional gaps, advocate for services to improve the child's life, mentor the youth, and report to the judge every 6 months. I was Jane's Casa volunteer and her voice in court. I was the eyes and ears of the court when I visited her school and her group home. There are 1,800 kids in foster care in Sacramento County right now, and last year we served 300 of them. It takes $2,500 to recruit, train, and supervise a Casa volunteer for a year. Today, we need $125,000 to meet our goal of serving 350 youth next year. Jane did not get pregnant or arrested. 7 months after that Christmas, she was permanently reunited with her sister and mother. The court case is closed. At her high school graduation, I sat with her family because that's where she feels I belong. It's the kind of outcome we strive for, but there are 1,500 local children without a Casa volunteer. That's why I ask you to take action today and volunteer or donate. We can change a child's story with court-appointed special advocates.
Another fantastic speech from Crystal. All right, back to our influencers. Patrick, what do you think?
Well, I just have to commend you, Crystal. That was such a compelling opening, and I loved that you threaded Jane's story. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end, which I think when we're talking about fundraising, we want to see where that money goes all steps of the way throughout the process. I want to give Jane a hug. I'm so glad that she had a Casa like you in her life that now considers you family as well. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I think, too, one of the things that I learned today, that 1,500 children in the area need a Casa. So it really speaks to the need and the impact that this money can have. And I also just would like to say that I think that what you did really well, outside of making an emotional connection with the audience, which I think we can all admit that you did, was that you resonated with me an impactful connection that Casas have with the community at large. That if we sort of address the problem head on, that it can solve future issues down the road. So really, really well done, Crystal. I'm impressed.
Patrick, you can give Jane a hug for $2,500. That is what a hug looks like in this environment. So, yeah, I mean, Crystal, you had us at Jane. I mean, literally the first words. It's just interesting, as my good friend sitting right down here, Kim Tucker, always talks about. One of the keys here is you got to hit him in the head with some of the data, the information. You got to hit him in the heart with your storytelling. and then that ultimately hits them in the wallet, right? That's the perfect trifecta, and I thought you did it. I thought it was so fun to see you come out with Jane's story and really lead with that, and you pulled us all in. I'll say the interesting thing, and this is why I'm so appreciative of Casa and everything you guys do, and really everyone in the audience who works in the prevention space, right? Because you hit it, you said it right at the very end. Nothing happened to her. Like, you're actually working so that nothing happens. And that's a really hard thing to do, to invest all that time and energy and money and everything else so that nothing ends up happening. So kudos to you for doing that. Great job up there, and you did great.
Yeah, I do have to echo what my fellow judges, commentators have said, Crystal, and full disclosure, I emceed some events for you and interviewed you, and I was wondering, because whenever I learn more about Casa, I am so emotionally impacted by it, and the story is so broad. I thought, how is she going to do this in 3 minutes? Can she do it? And you did do it, and you did it concisely but extremely effectively with that story that you told. And I was thinking about what Scott said. What you're hoping for is more of a normal outcome, and that's what you got. And there are so many children that still are out there at risk, but their outcomes could be just normal and lovely and harmonious with that donation. So you were spectacular in relating it. I don't know how you did it, but you did. Congratulations, Crystal.